Today we're embarking in a sprawling, beautiful nature theme park that is a standard size with 3 themed areas, 5 roller coasters, transport rides, ambient themed music, and more. Quite a fun episode, so stay tuned and we'll get right on into it. Hey yo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another episode of Park Spotlight. Today we're going to be looking at Summit Point, created by Shane.Smith, and here they say, "Hey Johnny, keep up the great content. I've been watching for years and finally decided to send in a spotlight. It has taken roughly 2 years, but it's been an off and on thing since I have other games I enjoy as well. I started Park early on and have created the park as I learned more about the game, so some stuff is still not polished, but I thought I gave the park some character overall. The park has 4 themed areas, 5 coasters, flat rides, transport rides, and more. I would say it's a semi-realistic park, but I didn't set out to make it a super realism by any means. I hope you enjoy the park, and of course, feedback is always welcome. Thanks, Shane.Smith." Boom. All right, really cool. Did I not get a rank on this creator here today? So their rank is not showing up, so we're just assuming that they haven't joined Discord yet. So come on in and join us on Discord, Shane.Smith. It's definitely going to help you improve and get your creations a little bit more polished, and that goes for anyone that is interested in this Planet Coaster community. Come on in and join us on Discord. So why don't we take a venture through Summit Point, created by Shane. Okay, welcome everybody. Here we are at Summit Point. This creator's first ever creation caught my attention. Did not think it was a beginner or builder by any means, as it definitely has a lot of captivating creation, artistry going on here. I mean, beautiful garden work, custom speakers everywhere, lampposts, garden work. This isn't stuff that a lot of the newer builders forget. Not only that, the pathing, where I have some lag spike there. The pathing is also not flat. It has elevation. It's looking really, really solid. You got a transport ride right out of the get-go right there. Is the Iron Horse the actual transport ride? I think it is. I think we can give the transport ride a go at the end of the video and just see how it takes us through the whole park and give us a little bit of tour of everything to wrap up the episode with a nice transport ride. But yeah, here we go again, like not completely flat. We have some elevation here with a bridge passing over the train tracks here, or the train passing under the bridge. And it carries us over to this side, which is also very nicely themed. Now, they did say there's 4 themed areas. One thing I would say that whoa, what's going on here? I've never seen that before. The game is completely having a heart attack with the terrain there. One thing I would say that this creator could definitely do in the future is push that theming. As just a quick look at things, everything to me just feels kind of, I guess, nature or alpine-ish. And I was having a hard time discerning what the themed areas are. Like, what is this themed area that we're in currently? We're using a little bit of the Mexican rooftops with the brick walls. You know, what does that say to me? I don't really know what it says to me. It looks interesting. It's different. It's creative, but I'm not quite sure what the theme is. And it doesn't have to be themed. It could just be a nature park in and of itself, and that is completely fine. But to say that there's 4 themed areas, I want them to be thematically different, and we'll have to see. Maybe they are. But from a first glance, they all did feel somewhat similar. But the rides and attractions seem to be well decorated, a lot of creativity gone into them, and the coasters themselves look to be pretty captivating from the outside as well. So I'm definitely excited to dive a little bit deeper into this park and see what it has. We're going to start off with the Radius, which is a boomerang coaster. There's a look at all the ride results if you'd like to see them, and we're just going to get right to it. And there it is, a pretty standard boomerang, nothing standing out here for me, nothing innovative, unique. It's pretty difficult to make a boomerang interesting. I know I think it was the very first contest we ever did. Actually, the go-karts was the very first contest we ever did. The second contest back in I think 2017, we did a boomerang contest because I wanted to see people push boomerangs to the next level, and they certainly did. And I think ever since then, I've been a little bit burnt out from the boomerangs because I've seen it all at that point. But with that said, it's pretty darn hard to make a unique and interesting boomerang unless you're going and pushing some sort of triggered events and putting a little bit of a story into it where it's doing something different on its way back than it did on its way forward. But it's fine to just have a standard boomerang thrown in your park. Nothing wrong with that. Pizza pen. Should we go over here? Yeah, why not? The Timberline. Yeah, I think you did a good enough job to make each area feel slightly different for like a nature-based park. You decided to switch up the pathing colors, the fencing colors. We still have these strange rooftops going on. I don't know what the decision behind that choice is. It's very contrasting to the hard oak wood panels on the back. Got a bit of a drop tower here. We could get a good view of the park from here. All the beautiful scenery, all the nice nature. This almost feels like a castle fortress here. It looks like the coaster's going through there as well. That's pretty cool. Yeah, landscaping's done pretty nicely. Lots of elevation, lots of terrain differentiation, and good use of foliage. Beautiful lake over there. It's all looking nice. It's a good designed nature park, absolutely. We're not going to be able to look at the park while we drop. We're going all the way over here. There we go. A nice log flume at the back there. Bye now. All right, awesome. So it looks like we have a really gnarly coaster. From the looks of the B-roll, this coaster looks pretty wicked, and it almost sprawls around the entire park, or at least half of the park for that matter. And here we go. So, the ride stats on this should be pretty interesting. Timberline, it's green across the board, 1,200 meters in length, 83 seconds in duration, 60 miles per hour, and 10 airtime counts with 3 inversions. Really cool. Oh, good googly boogly. Definitely some interesting coaster elements and design choices on that one, but quite fun overall. Wow. From how far it sprawls out into the park, it actually went by a lot quicker than I thought it would. I was expecting... I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting to go further out into the park, but that actually passed by quite quickly. Okay, so here we go. The Breckenridge, definitely having more of a western vibe to it. So let's see how much different this area feels based off of the entrance. Definitely changed up the building style a little bit. Almost feels like a ranch. Western Ridge. Oh, this is the train station for the second stop for this themed area. Yukon Ridge. So we have a big RMC here. Definitely excited to check this out. Yeah, I definitely think you've designed a lot of things right here, especially for a first-time build. The cube buildings themselves are pretty well decorated. Lots of artistry gone into them. I think my only feedback so far is to differentiate your themed areas a little bit more from each other and push that a little bit further. But it's hard to do that when you're new to the game. Here's a look at the stats if you want to see them, and we're going to get right to it. Whoa! Some of those coaster elements were pretty spastastic and rickety at times. I think you just need to give your elements more breathing rooms. Some of them are too small, too sharp, too quick. Going from one into the other, you could just space it out a little bit and then hit that smooth tool a little bit more. It's harder to smooth it when the elements are so close together, and if they are larger elements, more spread out, you can kind of smooth it a little bit better. So I think just stretching out the actual banking turns and the elements themselves, making them a little bit longer, wider, with more banking on them, gives you a little bit better time to transition from one to the other, and then we don't have any of that spazziness happening between the transitions. But overall, it felt pretty fun and wild, so really cool. All right, what do we have going on over here? A tunnel leading to another area. We have a boat ride here. Does this boat ride do anything interesting? Not really. It's just going around the lake. I mean, it serves as a transport ride, which is fine in terms of like a theme park game. Like, hey, we got a ride that takes you from one spot to the next to the next. If you wanted to make it a ride that we actually go on and have an enjoyable experience with, I think you got to create little interesting swampy areas with lily pads and all the little ferns and doodads, and then maybe have like a little island and a bridge going over top, and just get really creative with the environment itself and pulling up that terrain and having the actual boat ride navigate through areas. Like maybe you could go back here and then come back out, and then the train passes by and the guests pass over it, and then you could see them kind of going up and around and over the boat ride, and you can pass through that. So as a ride itself, it doesn't really feel that interesting to me, so I'm gonna pass on it for sure. It's a nice underground tunnel. It's really well done. What do we have here? Is this the other... Oh, it's the log flume. Okay. I'm down for checking this out. The coal cracker. Sure. All right, off we go. All right, that was actually really awesome. I think thematically, out of all your rides so far, this is the best one. Stands out really strong compared to the rest. You have all these, you know, interesting bits to look at, but also just really captivating lighting and points of interest. You know, there's just a lot to look at here coming through. We get a look at the park there. Nice directional force with the sun shining in our face. Really cool interior here. And a good look at this area up here with an awesome splashdown. And then we come back through here, we're seeing the coaster. So as we're riding this ride, we're getting to look at other areas of the park and getting excited about what we want to do and where we want to go next. And I just felt like the other rides didn't really have that as prominent. So I think you did a really good job at that. Now, as we enter this area of the park, this definitely gives me fantasy vibes. It makes me feel like this is a completely different island adventure. Set apart from the rest of your other 3 themed areas that we looked at. This is the only one to me that's actually screaming, hey, this is a different area of the park. So definitely have those fantasy vibes. This is for the boat ride, I would imagine. I just wanted to check out the queue and all that. Yeah, even the garden work feels a little bit different. You're using like the brighter flowers in this area, different styles of trees. So the actual path work and plaza feels a lot different. Very open. All of your areas definitely feel open. Relieves any feeling of claustrophobia for sure, but also doesn't really give us a whole lot to look at. We have shops on the outside here, flat rides, but not a lot to explore. What is this? Hansel and Gretel. Oh, this is for the flat ride here. That's your Hansel and Gretel. Great, great, great. I did notice that there was like an exploration. Is this a queue? Or is there a queue somewhere else? Here it is. The Jester. I did notice that there was like an exploration suspended steel coaster. And that had me pretty excited because it navigates the whole back area of the park. Rarely have we seen those used in fun ways, like exploration ways. So that should be cool. Here's the Jester. It's a crazy one. Crazy coaster. All right, let's check this out. I think we'll go in track view. Yeah, pretty standard traditional coaster, something you'd see in a standard theme park. I mean, there's just fenced in, not a whole lot of theming at all, but pretty okay. Not bad. Nothing to complain about there. Ooh, this looks really nice. I really love how captivating this little area is. Yes, this looks awesome. The Wolf. Okay. And this is the suspended steel coaster that I was pretty excited for. Really like what you do with this boarding station. Lots of pieces, well decorated in terms of artistry. And here we go. This is the Wolf, 1,000 meters in length. There's a look at all the stats, and we're just going to jump on this one. That's a fun little exploration. One thing I definitely noticed when we went on that ride, and this bit of a compliment to what you've done with the rest of the park, is how good the ambience has been throughout the park so far. I didn't even notice that the ambience was good until going on that ride where there was absolutely no sound at all. So maybe that ride could have definitely been elevated with a little bit of sounds. It definitely reminded me to point out the fact that the ambience has been really good in this park so far, and for a first-time creator, that is often one of the things that is forgotten about. So definitely good to see that there. Hats off to you there. I love this little, leaving Grindelwald. Yeah, what you've done really good is the landscaping and then the foliage work. You've done a great job of making captivating landscapes. It's been definitely like your strongest point right there. And now we're back at the park entrance here. So why don't we end things off with a train ride, and I can give my well, I want to check if there's nighttime lighting first and kind of take an overall peek at the bird's eye view. So it all seems like softly lit, which is good. It's not overkill for like a nature style park. I think it's actually exactly where it needs to be. Log flume actually looks pretty compelling at night. Yeah, it's pretty good. So let's talk about it real quick, and then we'll go on the train ride. So this is actually like a big park. I think in their submission, one part that they mentioned was like, they said it's like a small size park, and you know, it's definitely not. When we look at our previous mini park contests, that's a small park right there, and then some people considered that to not even be small. So this is, for me, like, it's not an end-to-end mega park because it's about half of that, and then even then the actual foot, maybe even just like a third, because a lot of the areas that were designed were outside of the park for the coasters themselves, and the actual foot areas of the park were a little bit smaller. So again, it's big, it's sprawling for a nature park. I think you did a really good job with your landscapes. You nailed that aspect, and you've delivered on that nature feel. But overall, I think the park has a good layout and a good flow. It feels very open and empty at times. I think maybe you could have packed in a little bit more theming here and there. But then when you have these cozy little smaller areas, there's lots of hills and tunnels and, you know, decorations and trim and pathwork going on, and I think it looks very captivating and interesting, where some of the other areas, like this area, felt a little bit more flat and empty and something left to be desired, because we don't have any of those focal points in the background. So it's some areas you got, like, you just nailed it, and other areas it's feeling a little bit bland and empty, where it could just do with a little bit more. And I think that's, like, for a new builder, you've chosen such a large space to fill that it becomes a little bit more challenging to make each of the in-between areas more detailed and captivating, because you have so much more to fill, so much more room to grow. So in some cases, I'd say maybe you went a little too big for a first-time creator, and maybe you could have shrunken that down just a little bit to intensify the amount of detail we have throughout. But I still think you did some really good stuff in terms of artistry, details. As I mentioned, you have the attention to detail. You have bits of realism throughout. You know, you didn't leave anything untouched for a beginner park, even though there's some areas that are open, empty, and sprawling. It didn't feel like a brand new builder to the game that just tends to do a bunch of paths with nothing in there. You know, it definitely felt busy, definitely felt decorated, and I think your attention to detail is really, really strong. So definitely a very, very strong first-time creation. Better than most, absolutely. So hats off to this creator, doing an outstanding job on this park here today. We're going to end off the episode with the Iron Horse, so I'm going to let you guys ride the train, and I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the train ride.